mean, there's not enough time to do everything I thought I was going to have time to do, but that's okay. I'll labor a few things and sort of skip over some things. First of all, we call them Meinrad tones, but just so you know, it's really the St. Meinrad modal psalm tones. St. Meinrad is an Archbishop Benedictine in southern Indiana, and of course the name of the little town is St. Meinrad, because the monastery was there first. Father Columba Kelly, who was a monk of that abbey for more than 50 years, he just died this past June, is really the one who wrote them, and I was lucky enough to be at St. Meinrad several times with him. And I said one time, why don't you put your name on it instead of the abbey? And he said, because I would not have been able to do this without the rest of the monks supporting me in the time. So Father Columba was actually in graduate school in Rome during the Second Vatican Council. So he got to see a bunch of that stuff live and in color. Came back to the Archabbey and was made choir master immediately. And he started writing these tones for the monks to use because they sing the office together 4 times a day. So they're singing psalms 4 times a day. That was the genesis of it. And he told me, he said he'd work on a particular mode and he'd put it out for the monks to sing and it didn't work. He worked on it for 10 years. So these weren't done overnight. And they've been done. Modal, which we're going to talk about a little bit. We're not used to modes so much in today's world, but these are modal. And they were written, I mean, there's psalm tones, but Father Columba said he set out purposely to create something that you could sing any utterance in any language. So these were great in Latin, they were great in Spanish, they were great in German. I have heard them, I couldn't do it, but I've heard them in Russian. They were great. And I called him one time, I said, Father Columba, you know, I tried to use these for a diocesan ceremony and it won't work with Vietnamese. And he laughed and he said, of course not. Vietnamese is a tonal language. So they'll work with any Indo-European language. Won't work with Asian languages which are already tonal. And if you have never, this has nothing to do with tone, if you have never experienced this, try to sometime in your life listen to a group of Vietnamese recite the Lord's Prayer. I mean, it sounds as if they're chanting it. And not only that, about halfway through, they start in organum in a fifth. It's unbelievable to listen to. Just hear them recite the rosary. English is such a basically non-tonal language. Okay, so on the second page here, I put this in the copyright information. This is copyright information 1991, St. Meinrad. But you go on down there and it says, musical compositions are copyright St. Meinrad are licensed under Creative Commons, which means you can use them anytime you can publish, you can do whatever you want, so long as you put copyright St. Meinrad on it. They just want to retain control. They don't care about making money because they're doing it. Okay, then this next page, page 3. Notice how beautifully I put the page numbers on. I really do not really use computers, but I decided. So I purposely didn't put any chant notation in for you to read. I put it all modern notation. But this applies to chant notation as well. So there's a reciting tone. Each verse of the song consists of a reciting tone with 1 or 2 preparatory notes. And then the final note of each bar is for the final accent of the line, not the final syllable of the line. Right? So get that distinction. The Lord is my shepherd. Shepherd is a 2-syllable word, right? But you don't want a cadence on the second syllable. The accent is on shepherd, right? So it goes to the final accent of the line, not the final syllable. So when singing the psalm tones, it's important to, notice he put it in bold, that's Father Columba, avoid treating every syllable as if they were of equal importance. People use up and down sounds, fast or slower when we talk, right? Certainly when you're talking to any sort of group, but even individually, we don't talk to each other with absolute equal value on each syllable. But somehow, people think that's the way you're supposed to chant. All right? It ain't. Don't do that. It would be wrong. Okay? It's essential to maintain the flow and rhythm of natural speech. Chant has no rhythm is an incorrect statement. Chant has no meter. Chant is not in 2/2 or 3/4 or 6/8. Chant does have rhythm, and it's the rhythm of speech. Right? Because we do not do this when we talk. There is rhythm, correct? We have some sort of rhythm to our speech. That's how you see. Now, not as fast as I talk, but some kind of rhythm. When I was doing chant with the choir, I'd always say, okay, don't forget, this is in the rhythm of speech. Unfortunately for you, it's in the rhythm of my speech. So mark it. And then the last paragraph on that page, we're going to actually do this if I gave you something with which to write. The first line is for 2 or 4 stanzas, and then you'll notice there's 2 lines that we get into it. And then you can use them no matter how many lines there are on it. Okay, so if you turn the page, we're on page 4 now. So we're going to go through all 8 modes fairly quickly with different numbers of lines. The psalmists, when they created the Psalms and the translations, really were not designed to make life easy for us, right? These are prayers. And they are what they are. Sometimes they're 2 lines, sometimes it's 3, sometimes 4, 5, 6. A couple of Psalm 119 springs to mind, actually has 7. So we have to be able to deal with that. And that's what Father Columba was trying to do here. So if you look at the first one there, that's 2 lines. So you look at the 4-liner, we're going to use the first and last to sing that. For the 3-line, we use the first, second line. The 4-line, obviously all of them. And the 5-line, you use the second one, omitting where it says omit for 5, and 6 for all of them. On each one of these, I pointed, it's called pointing, that's a technical term, I marked the 6-liner for each one. But then you're going to take your little pencil and figure out the other ones as we go along here, okay? So Carol's going to play this. This is mode 1. Carol's going to play it through for us. Play the 6. Memorize the mode. We're not going to have time to memorize all these, obviously, but the better you know what it sounds like, the better you're going to be able to do it. So this time, just look at the 6th line, don't look at the song, and just hum along as Carol plays it, okay? So we're just giving one beat to the long one. Ready? Pitch. Ready to go? No, just play it. Just hum along. Ready? So let's not do the Catholic mumble, but let's say this together. Let the sons of Israel say. Okay, notice how the accents are marked. Let the sons of Israel say. As Father Columba says, you just sort of swing from accent to accent. And he uses the term swing purposely because he always say, if it ain't got that swing, it ain't got it, right? If it ain't got a thing, it ain't got that swing. That's right. Okay, so now again, let's just say it. Ready? Let the sons of Israel say, his love endures forever. Let the sons of Aaron say, his love endures sing it that way. Carol's going to play the mode one more time, and then we're going to sing it. Ready? So get that in your head. Okay, now you're going to breathe when she plays the chord. Okay, ready? Here we go. Let the sons of Israel sing, His love endures forever. Let the sons of Aaron sing, His love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord sing, His love endures forever. Yeah, and don't linger on final syllables, right? Because no native speaker of English would say, His love endures forever. Right? But singers see something that looks like a whole note. Oh, wow, listen to how cool I sing. We all do it. We all do it. I have to watch myself constantly. That's why this notation is better, because it ain't not filled in on the last syllable. One of the horrible things about responsive clang. It looks like you should hold it a long time, and you shouldn't. Okay, once again, ready? Once again on that. So you get the feeling of breath, right? And then breath, here we go, ready? Let the sons of Israel say, His love endures forever. Let the sons of Aaron say, His love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, His love endures forever. Okay, now take your pencil and just as an academic exercise, the two-liner. Okay, so the last accent of the first line is good, right? So that means that's where the last note's going to go. Two preparatory, so we make the change on he, correct? Second line, the last accent is on of ever. You back up to again. So you make the first, makes a change on the second syllable of endures. So it sounds, then we're going to do 1 and 4, since it's a two-liner. We do the first bar and the fourth bar. Let me sing it, and then you sing it back, okay? Yeah. The first bar, yeah. 1 and 4. Okay, ready? Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His love endures forever.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just what you have now. Try it again. Try it, everybody now already. Boom. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His love endures forever. Now the 3, what's going to happen? We're doing 1, 2, 4, right? So the first line, the last accent is B's. We back up 2, so we make the change on about. The second line, accent is on thorns. Again, we back up 2, so makes a change on the first syllable of among. And then the third, the last accent, notice, is crushed. That is one of those personal kinds of things. If you, as a cantor, felt better with crush them, go ahead and do it. But crush them. If you say that, in the Lord's name, I crushed them. In the Lord's name, I crushed them. That might be how you feel like that. I mean, really, sometimes we feel that and we're going to approach a psalm slightly differently. So I'm not saying it's wrong, but the real accent goes on crush. So if it's crushed, then you back up to name. So again, let me sing it. They compassed me about, sorry, you're on my bed. They compassed me about quite as well, does it? I certainly would never do that with an assembly, but I would never argue with a cantor who did it. If you're doing it by yourself, it's a whole different deal, right? If you're putting this out for the assembly, try to make it personalized. All right, let's try 3. Ready? They cover steam. They cover steam about like bees. They blaze like a fire among thorns. In the Lord's name I crush them. In the Lord's name I crush them. Everybody, in the Lord's name I crush them. Good. Now, try to do 4 without marking it. Just see if you get a feeling. I mean, look at it. You can see where the accents are. This, honestly, you won't believe. I mean, you probably don't believe me at the moment. But this is what happens. Once you learn I don't have to mark them anymore. I just know where it is. I mean, I don't ever just read it off the stand. I always work it out ahead, but I know where it is. If something's tricky, then I'll circle it, right? There are a few things that like, oops. All right, try the 4. It is better, right? It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in men. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. Princes. Be careful, right? Princess. Yeah. Probably just the women should sing the first 2 lines, but that's okay. We'll have everybody do it. Everybody again, ready? It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in men. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. Right, and did you see how that time you did than to trust in rather than to trust in prince, than to trust in prince, because it starts meaning something to you, and you start then really singing the text.
But you have to make sure on that third one, you only do 1.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Be sure on that third one, you just do 1 syllable.
Right. Yeah, there's only 1 preparatory on the third. Okay, now we haven't heard all 6 bars, so when we do the 5. We're going to do 1, 2, and the second one down, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, right? So Carol, play that. Play it. Here's 3, and 4, and 6. Okay, try it. Let's go. Ready? Now the last one again, we've done that. Let's do the last one together and make sense of it. Here we go. Let the sons of Israel say, His love endures forever. Let the sons of Aaron say, His love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, say this at the beginning. If you got questions, ask them. Right? We don't have any grades to give out here. Yeah.
So 5. So you do 4. You do all 4 of those. But on 5, you jump down here.
Right. For 5 and 6, he used the second one.
But how do you know to skip all of what you're saying? You skip all of that.
Well, it's all the same.
It's the same.
It's just there's more to the 6 than there is to the 4.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right. Because I was going like this and going down there, so I'm like, you did those 2. But you're right.
Okay. If it's 5 or 6, he is the second one.
Okay, so it's even.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're putting all this together for us.
We just did
The
this.
second Tom was talking, what?
I'm so glad that you're putting all this together for us because we've been doing this for like a whole year, last year. But our choir director put all these modes in there with the words, So we weren't having to pick out which ones to do. So
Uh-huh.
she had those. And we were just singing it like we were just reading like out of the response world. But we were doing mode 1 and mode 2 and all this kind of stuff, and we never understood the reason behind it.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah, we
And
just did this one, just not
We
too long
just
ago. Because
one
we
is-
canter together, so we did,
1's pretty easy to do.
yeah.
3 is pretty hard.
Yeah.
We're gonna do 3.
Question unaccompanied, Meinrad, if you're singing a small scola, it's really just a breath, it's not a
Yeah.
pause between those lines. Would that be a correct statement? So like this last sign, let those who fear the Lord say, or let's see, what's a better one? 5 beats. I shall not die, I shall live, and recount his deeds. Sounds odd to speak it, so it sounds odd to sing it. So if unaccompanied, you would continue the phrases and you'd say them in
Even if
English.
it's accompanied, you can do that. But you can only do that with a skull.
Yeah.
You cannot pull that off with an assembly.
Oh, well, no way. But with a scola,
And these
it's
are
as it's
good for
spoken.
both. But, and these work absolutely fine with no accompaniment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, better.
If you have accompaniment, the organist or pianist has got to be better than a conductor. I'm not exaggerating.
Well, once you-
If I wouldn't trust very many people to play, because Carol and I have done this for 2 or 3 years together. But Carol's working harder than I am. She's really thinking about where does it go next, which one of these things. So she pretty much has all 6 of them memorized, just glances to see what it is. But the cool thing about these, and you may not have noticed, Carol, play the first bar and then the last. Okay, so it's just the first chord. So then you know you're going to start there, and then when you play the last now, when you hear that, it's a completely different chord than the second bar, which is this. Oh, it is completely different. Whoops.
You just can't hear it. I'm sorry. This is the last. This is the second.
Okay, so the chord itself is a clue for which bar you're singing.
yeah.
I mean, they're very cleverly written. They're just very, very cleverly written. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'm not going to make you do all of the rest of these.
What does she have, what's something that accompaniment? Oh, that's right.
Well, you'll see some accompaniment when we go on a little further. On the very last page of this, this is a lot of stuff to copy, right? The very, very last page, I gave you the URL to go to St. Meinrad, and you can download all these. You can download the accompaniment, you can download the Gregorian notation or modern notation. They're all available. And then if you have Photoshop or something, real easy to just create a graphic of one of them and lay it in a handout. If you don't, it's like God created scissors and glue. Right? Okay, it'll work. Okay, mode 2, we're going to sing the last one that's 6 lines, okay? So Carol's going to play the whole thing now for mode 2. Play the 5th bar, good?
Wait.
Thank you. Don't confuse us. Okay, let's try the 6th liner of the Sons of Israel. Right? You know the text now. You can sort of look at the notes. Right, here we go. Let the sons of Israel sing. His love endures forever. Let the sons of Aaron sing. His love endures forever.
Let those who fear the Lord
Do that again. Let those who fear the Lord sing. His love endures forever. Okay? So, nice mode 2. Think about where are the accents, and let's do the first, just the first one. Don't mark it. Just see if you can hear what's coming now. Bum, ba, da, dee, dee, dee. One prep for each. Ready?
The first one. Top.
2 lines. Just chord. Give
Give
thanks
thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his love endures forever.
See how you get a feeling for it?
When do you use different modes? I mean,
I'm going to talk about what mode. I'll get through these.
Okay.
I'm going to try, really short period of time to talk about mode, which will sort of lead you a little bit, okay? Not all the way, but a little bit. Mode 3 is really tough, as Carol so elegantly puts it every time we sing mode 3. God, that's weird. Yeah, I promise. I would never make up anybody. Hum it. Don't even try to sing words. Ready? Listen to the final cadence. It's da, half step between 2 and 1 there. Ready? Good. Now try the 6th line of the song. Here we go. Let the songs of Israel sing. His love endures forever. Let the sons of Aaron sing. His love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, His love endures forever. Bravo! That's pretty darn good for reading mode 3. 4 is much easier than that. You know what? I'm going to do this a different way. I'm not going to go through the rest of it because we're running out of time already. I want to try to get to why. Why do we use certain ones? So if you jump to page 12, these are modes, right? I said at the beginning, mode, we're talking about modes, and now I'm going to talk about mode in about 1/10 the time. I need to talk about mode. Daniel Saulnier, who is the current head of chant research at the monastery of St. Peter in Salem, France, right? The Benedictines of Salem are the chant experts in the world. He wrote a little book on modes, and in the introduction, he said the term mode means different things at different times in different places. So we, 21st century Americans, are inheritors of Western European harmony, right? So Carol, play 1-4-5-1 in C major. I mean, we're used to that, right? We hear that all the time, maybe with a 6th chord thrown in.
Yeah.
We all know how to play A minor, right? We can manage that. The F is hard. But Gregorian chant, this chant, there are different kinds of chant. This is specifically Gregorian chant. The technical term is the Gregorian octoecus, the 8 modes used in Gregorian chant. There are different ones in Greece. There are different ones for Byzantine chant. Late 19th, early 20th century composers like Vaughan Williams and Gustav Holst did modality, but it was modal harmony, not modal melody. In chant, we're talking about just melody. So the thing that separates the modes is, first of all, the final. Which pitch does it end on? And which are the important pitches that are used? All the pitches of a scale may be used, but which are the important ones? And what's the sort of reciting tone? Where does it kind of go before the final? C and F are important. They're called universal structure pitches because, and this room is almost, play an F. Yeah, okay, so here F resonates. Do it again. It resonates a little bit. Now play an E. Not so much, right? A church built on golden proportion, where the width is 1/3 of the length and the height is 2/3 of the length. Something built on that proportion, F and C reverberate in that room. It's just an acoustical property, which 21st century American architects know nothing about. We're going to solve it all with electronics. So F and C are always important. In the first modal family, called modus, right? We have two modes, the first and second. They both end on D. Their final is on D. And when we talk about D, it's a convenience. These things can be pitched anywhere. This is just a convenience to talk about D. So D is the reciting tone, it's the final, hold D. And then A, hold it together, is the reciting tone, right? Mode 2, F is the reciting tone. So F, mode 2 lies just a teeny bit lower than mode 1. It goes below D, whereas mode 1 doesn't. But they essentially use the same pitches. So let's just do right here. You all sing D. Ready? On and on. And then you sing A. Carol, you play C against that. All right, so you see F and C work just dandy there, right? I'm going to skip over deuterus for a moment because that's the weird word, okay? Treatise then, modes 5 and 6. F is the final. C is the reciting tone. So guess what? You got the universal structure pitches right there. And that's why mode 6 is really one of the easiest ones to learn because it almost sounds major. It's really, for us, we're steeped in the harmony we're steeped in. It's really easy. The tetratus, the fourth family then, modes 7 and 8, G is the final, D is the reciting tone for mode 7, and C for mode 8. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sing GD against, Carol's going to play F and C. So G, ready? D. All these modes really started like
Fingers on the top board.
right, pentatonic scale. And all those pitches work grand together. There's a skip in the pentatonic scale. So how that got filled in, that or really is what created the modes. Because cantors were never happy unless they're singing way up there somewhere. That's really where modes came from. Cantors sort of invented them as they went along. Remember, this stuff originally, way before anything was written down. The earliest manuscripts that anybody that the monks could find were from about 875. Well, Chant had been around 2,000 years, pre-Christianity. And what became the Gregorian modes had been around since at least the mid-300s. So it was around a long time, and there's a lot of improvisation. Now let's go to deuterus, just so you can hear the bizarre what's going on here. So in mode 3, E is the final, B is the reciting tone. The room is echoing F and C. So the B's tended to get pulled up to C, and the E's tend to get pulled up to F. Now let's see exactly how hard it is. Give me E. Okay, ready? B. F and C. See how hard it is to hold your pitch? The room fights you in that key. And I learned early on at the cathedral. The cathedral is just a teeny bit flat from echoing F and C. We can't do stuff in E in there. It sharps, it sharps to F, or it really what sort of ends up as F something. So I tend to do things either, I tend to put them in E flat. Because you just can't do it. E won't work in the room. It sounds dreadful because it's so hard for even good singers to keep that in tune.
So would you normally only do like maybe mode 1 and 2 and maybe 5 and 6 in a church?
Do who? I mean,
Well, I mean, like if we were doing this in our church, would we pick like 1 and 2 to teach the congregation or to
Yes.
sing?
if you're doing it with the congregation, certainly start with 1 and 6.
That's what we usually do.
Okay, yeah.
And then maybe add 8, because 8 is a really cool time.
Okay.
And, you know, don't get into, 4 is much easier than 3, but, you know, don't do 3 until they're really, really comfy doing these.
That's
Choirs
for the
can pretty much
advanced-
learn to
the
do 3.
advanced
3 is
people,
tough. 3 is a tough mode. Well, you heard yam ba da dum. Nobody wants to do that on a cadence, right? Nobody wants to do a half step there. It's just
Well,
not in our ear.
They only have to they just repeat what you do anyway, like if you're talking about songs. So,
Right.
so not exactly.
Well, they're gonna attempt to do that anyway,
Oh, sure.
so.
And
We
I'll
want to
say
give them
this
something
again.
easy to repeat.
There's a whole bunch of stuff in here that we just simply don't have time.
So
So,
what are you reciting the psalm, I mean, their part in?
I'm sorry?
The congregation's part when you do these psalms.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing for the congregation? What is their
Well,
part?
turn to page 18.
For the refrain, I guess.
Here, I put the accompaniment in because I was lazy and didn't want to do 2 copies mostly. But you would probably put the whole accompaniment in for congregation, but you just put 1 line. Okay. Now this right in here, there's 8 different psalms with the 8 different psalm tones. We are going to sing all these. I'm sorry, before we do that, look at the bottom of 17. Medieval musicians gave descriptions of the mode. This is at the bottom of the page. So mode 1, grave, serious. Mode 2, tristi, sad. Mode 3, mysticus, mystical. Okay. Mode 4, harmonicus, harmonious. Mode 5, delighted. 6, devout. 7, angelic. And 8, perfect. Very subjective terms, right? But there's a real difference, and we'll see sort of what it feels like to sing different texts to different modes. So now, you'll turn to page 18 now. So mode 1, solemnity, is a description of that. So this is sort of a solemn text, okay? I even pointed this way. Ready? Thank you, Lord.
And your faithful ones bless you. They shall speak of the glory of your reign and declare your mighty deeds.
Okay, so the mode itself sort of portrays the text, especially if you look at that whole psalm. It is sort of solemn. Okay, so now reverence and awe for mode 2, a real different kind of psalm from that. Okay?
Give you, Lord, good our iniquities. Lord, who could stand? But with you is found forgiveness, that we may be redeemed.
Different feeling, the text itself is a different feeling from the first one, right? Now, it doesn't mean you're always going to hit it on the nose, right? But when you read a psalm, you're going to get some sort of, what's this psalm about? Is it lament? Is it joy? Is it praise? Is it petition? Because they're all different, right? 150 of them, plus 26, 27, how many candles are there, you know, in the Psalter? They're all different. But they're all prayer, they're all poetry. And remember, doing them modally is far more authentic than doing them in major and minor. Another major shortfall of respondent acclaim. Those psalm tones are just relentlessly major and minor. None of them are modal. None of them. Where did the Christians get how to sing psalms?
Judas.
From Judaism, right? The early Christians read Acts. The early Christians were still going to synagogue on Friday night to read the Sabbath. And then on Sunday they celebrated their God, right? So they took that chant with them. Psalms are, the newest ones are from the time of David, 2,700 years old. The oldest one's around 4,000 years old. They've been around a long, long time. Father Hayes said, really, we need to sing more songs. It's really part of our whole heritage here. Okay, 3. Intense feeling, right? Either sadness or joy. So this mode really, really sets forth this text.
Amen.
That's mispointed on that third one. Is he who will?
Yeah, the next to last line is marked incorrectly. Gosh, I did that. Should be on
We'll find
read.
Yeah, read.
It is he who will redeem Israel. My bad, sorry.
Yeah, we'll forget.
Okay, and then again, Father Columbus' words. Goal is to have the psalm tone memorized, sing the text in a good speech rhythm that literally swings from one word accent to another until it comes quietly to rest, right? On the final. Now on page 21, to answer a couple of very specific questions, which one do you choose? Oftentimes, at least 4 modes are going to be appropriate for any song. But be careful because there's almost always something that is exactly wrong. Okay? And what I did here was try to give you a couple of examples of exactly wrong. Okay? So here's the first one. Mode 3. See if you think it fits this text. The thing about this is, don't decide this stuff academically. Sing it. See what it sounds like. What does it taste like? What does it feel? Oh, then you'll get it right. Yeah, do you have a question? Or were you just saying good job?
No, I was just saying it should build. You know what the words are.
Oh yeah, because we sang that, we just sang that one a while ago to mode 7. You know, way different. Now, there's another wrong one here, okay? A plaintive psalm to mode 8. See if this fits. Ready? So that's why, you know, there's probably a lot of latitude in which one to pick, but there's some that are just wrong. Just like, don't do that. Oh, Father Columba told me that, of course, it's just nothing in the whole world like singing Liturgy of the Hours with the monks. It's just fabulous. But they're on a 4-week cycle, and in ordinary time, the Magnificat is sung every day for Vespers. My soul magnifies the Lord. Nice, joyful text. Well, on the 4th week of the 4-week cycle in ordinary time, the antiphon, Father Columba wrote in mode 3. So they sing the Magnificat in mode 3. And some of the other monks that I got to know and talk to say what it does is it makes you think about that text in a whole different way. It really makes you think about, yes, this was a very joyful thing for Mary to say, but on the other hand, you're probably fairly apprehensive at the same time. And that mode 3 kind of, so it's kind of fun to do that, but don't do it too much to the congregation. Okay, now, these are good also on page 22. These are, the tones are also good for things like gospel. Right? Again, one of them, you know, I love responding playing, you can tell by my support of it. The absolute worst, I mean, there are a lot of things I don't like about it, but the absolute worst thing is the Hallelujah verses are awful. I mean, they're awful. They're hard. They make no sense.
And they're very verbose.
We rewrite
yeah.
a lot of them.
And there are a lot of words, too. Well, there's just, anyway, so you can, if you use that, there's nothing wrong with those hallelujahs. If you use that, then use one of the Meinrad tones to go with it. I mean, here, the chant, hallelujah, we all know that, right? Let's sing it. Ready? Hallelujah. it takes a minute to ignore them. Look at the text, mark where you're going to make the changes. Bingo. You got a nice gospel verse without spending 30 minutes preparing something that you have nothing when you finish preparing. Right? I mean, they're not very rewarding. Next page is actually one of the LOEs from play. Now you do this because a lot of parishes have this CP. Sing it, everybody. So my suggestion with this would be mode 5. Come you whom my Father has blessed, says the Lord, inherit the kingdom prepared for you since the foundation of the world. Hallelujah. Right? So no matter how verbose it is, you get it over with pretty quick. Or no matter how many words there are. A couple of more little things, and then I do want to look through it real quick. I put in the acclamations for Lamb. I just have that, but I'm not going to sing it. On page 25, we are not supposed to ever substitute, quote, another psalm for the responsorial psalm. The text of the psalm should always be one of the two approved translations, either NIV revised or Braille, right? So, but at the same time, how can you be pastoral, especially at funerals, right? The last thing you want to do is send somebody away from the church for the rest of their life. So people love Shepherd Me, O God, right? I mean, they just do. Those verses that Marty Hagen wrote are not official translation. Here's a way around it, right? It's a nice mode 2 setting of the song. Give us it again, Shepherd. Okay, let's sing it. Just that much. Oh, you're going to play the intro. Go ahead. And shepherd me, O God, beyond my hearts, beyond my fears, from death into life. You got this here in front of you. And then I'll sing the psalm, and then Carol will play the little intro or the little interlude to get back to the refrain. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Fresh and green are the pastures where he gives me repose. Near restful waters he leads me, he revives my soul. Thank you. Please the family and done the correct things liturgically. Right? And it's not very often we get to do that. Right? Am I right?
Well, that's why we buried
Okay, and I also showed you the same thing for verses for the Lord. The Lord is my life and my salvation. So there's the setting in mode 5 of the real verse. Okay, quickly, I was just told I have 3 minutes. Look at in here, I'm just randomly picking one here. On page 320, if you have to do daily psalms, okay? These are exceptionally, the Meinrad tones are exceptionally useful, all right? So we look at the psalm a minute. Remember your compassion, O Lord, your kindness are from old. So mode 1 is okay for this. It may not be stunning, but it certainly is okay. Really, one line, well, I use it to you, O Lord, to lift up my soul. One line, so we're going to use mode 1, and we use simply the last bar for the refrain. Mode 1. Just play the last bar. So the cantor sings, to you, O Lord, to you, O Lord, I lift my soul. To you, that your compassion, O Lord, and your kindness are from of old. In your kindness remember me, because of your goodness, O Lord. To you, O Lord, I easy way. I mean, you can do it on Sunday as well, by the by. But if you're doing daily masses especially, you never have the music for it. So a simpler way to do it. It's one line, just use the last bar. 2 lines, first one, right? So extremely, extremely useful. And I will leave you with one thought. Do I have 40 seconds? We oftentimes don't spend any time looking at the general instructions because it seems like they're designed to make our lives hard, not easy. But one of the things that people ignore about the responsorial psalm is the normal way to do it is like most everybody does on Sunday. Cantor sings the refrain, everybody repeats it, cantor sings verse, refrain. You can also do it indirectly, straight through. You can sing that song alternating cantor and everybody on a Meinrad tone. Perfectly legitimate. And you need to tell your pastor it's perfectly legitimate. And it's right there in the general instructions.
So
But it's an easy thing to do. I mean, we think, gosh, you can only use these for liturgy of the hours. No, you can use them on Sunday. Okay? So remember, if you want to use these tones with an existing refrain, if it's major, use mode 5-6. If it's minor, use mode 1-2. Okay?
Yay.
I made it.